Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Desperate Measures.
Hello.
Okay.
All right.
It
One
is-
last thing before we get going, Neal. The day before, I cast armor on myself, and as I understand that spell, it just doesn't go away until I take damage.
That's right. It doesn't go away until you take a boatload of damage.
That's it's more.
It should
I'll go
be
down before it goes away.
8
So-
plus 1 per level, is it? 8 plus
I
2
think
per
it's
level?
2. I'll look it up, but all I know is it's more than my HP. So I will go
Yeah.
down before the spell drops, which
It'll
is
give you
good to know.
AC 14,
Mm-hmm.
which is then cumulative with dexterity and other stuff. And it's 8 plus 1 level per caster. So 8 and 4 is 12.
12.
So you got to
yep.
take 12 HP of damage before you drop to lower AC.
Mhm.
And
And if I pass out, I'm assuming it's like a concentration thing and it goes away, or no? Or is it
What do you
just
mean?
innate?
I think armor would be like a set it and forget it.
Yeah,
Set it, forget
there's
it?
no concentration with this whatsoever.
Perfect.
Fire and forget, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the next day
Okay.
we wake up and I cast Mount for all 4 of us again and we take off.
And you take off, go into Kaldur'ahm. All right, the party will. You're gonna mount, and you can do
5.5
6
hours.
movement
hours.
speed
sounded like.
24
Yeah, 5.5.
for movement speed 12 for movement speed 24.
24 times 2 because you're moving
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
All right, so movement speed 24 times 2, but you're only doing 5-ish hours, 5.33 hours of travel. So
And then
times
we have to nap and then we
5.33.
can do it again.
Oh, right.
It might be quicker this time to get there without the napping. Because it takes an hour to nap. I don't know. But
I don't think so. Because
Oh, maybe not then, yeah.
So it's
Okay,
gonna
yeah,
be
we'll
about
just- We're 5/8 again, or-
50 something miles to Kaldur'ahm.
Yep. So we can just
Yep.
nap whenever.
Yeah. When the first mount runs out, we just take a nap there.
Okay, it will be a long journey. If you guys are going to be on horseback riding for 10 hours straight without,
Oof.
I mean, you get like the 1 hour nap in there, so you'll get a little bit of a break after the first 5 hours and 20 minutes. But I would like everyone to make me a Constitution check, unless you have a horseback riding proficiency, in which
I've
case
got
you're
it.
fine. So you're fine.
Cool.
It doesn't matter. Anyone else that doesn't have a horseback riding proficiency, please make me a con check.
Beautiful.
What's the con check for, out of curiosity?
Saddle sore.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the saddle
Nat
soreness, the
20.
chafing of
Does
the
it hurt?
loins.
Like physically or?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it really does.
Because
hurt.
you got this like wide stance for such a long time, and if your horse is going at a nice clip and you have to sort of keep pace with it, the how do you say, the tidbits that hang
Your
have a
balls
lot
get
of
tossed.
Yeah.
your balls
I got
get
it.
tossed and you end up
Friction.
sitting on them. It can be very uncomfortable to just have your balls like bouncing on a saddle. So you got to do it just right and hold the position, and it can cramp your legs. It's very uncomfortable.
Crotchal friction.
And
We'll just cure
how
light
those
wounds
cowboys,
that away,
have their
guys. It's
legs
fine.
bowed out and kicked. It's because that's like what it is. Sitting on it does that
How
to
much
your legs all the time.
damage does it do?
It won't do any like points of damage to you. You guys all passed your con checks, so you're fine. So don't worry about it. But had you failed and we had also run into combat at the same time, I might be like, your legs are sore, your balls hurt, -1 on everything you do, or something, depending on how badly you failed by.
If I dispel somebody's fatigue from that, would that help them or no?
No, no, this is more of like muscle soreness. You'd need like a masseuse to wear to get this shit out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we
why you
know
got
your
the-
next.
Wide stance cowboys.
Your next.
Sounds like I'm gonna have to make a spell.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Make a spell.
Make a spell, resist ball fatigue.
Ooh, I like that
Oh.
one actually.
I like it a
I was
lot.
thinking just like a massage spell, but no, that's a good
it's
one.
like a
Okay.
massage
Magic
spell.
or whatever.
Has many uses.
All right. The Hemderkoss Hills are going to be a dangerous area for you. And travel through these hills is going to be quite a bit slower. Does anyone have any sort of direction sense or
Yes.
tracking or pathfinding proficiencies?
Yes. Like all
What do you
of
got,
those.
Mr. Ranger?
Well, I've got tracking and I've got direction sense.
Well, then you should be good because you know Kaldur'ahm is on the northwest corner of the Hemdakas Hills. So as long as you head northwest, you'll be able to find it. And with your sense of direction, that won't be a problem. It's not like it's hidden, buried in the hills somewhere without any good landmarks.
It should be pretty self-evident where it's at, basically, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, if we did get lost, you either turn west and go till you hit water and then go north, or you turn north and you go till you hit water and then you go west.
Mm-hmm.
True.
These are true.
No need direction sense for that.
True facts. Factually true.
Okay. It is while you're traveling across the hills on this day in May the 8th, that I call for a perception check from all members of the party.
Yeah.
The dump's dead.
Those aren't as scary anymore, but I still can't pass them.
Ooh, Jeb, that 31 is going to do you good.
My 25?
Jeb's 31 outpaces your 25. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
Jeb, you see something in the distance on one of these days, on this day.
Mm-hmm.
As you're sort of moving through this canyon between these large hills, there is something that sort of like flutters around the next canyon, the next turn in this canyon as you head north.
What do you mean flutters?
Like you catch, it's maybe like a cloak blowing in the wind, or maybe someone's arm like behind them. Just you come around this corner and there's like a bit of movement around the next canyon wall, maybe 300 or 400 feet away from you. It's pretty far, and you just barely catch it. But there's a thing there,
I'll pull out my
something
bow,
weird.
and they'll be like, guys, I don't think we're alone.
I had already cast my nap spell, correct?
Yes, this is most of the way through your day.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we got to go around it or through it. What do y'all normally do?
Around?
Let's go around. Let's go more west.
Sounds good to me. Around it is.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we did with the kobolds around.
So you head west, leaving the canyon, going up to the top of the hill. It'll take you a little while to make your way to the ridge that you can follow along, and you can keep going. Maybe 45 minutes later.
And I'll
Jeb,
be on
still-
the lookout, especially since I saw something.
That's exactly what I was about to say. You're on the
excellent.
lookout for stuff. And you catch a thing fluttering sort of behind the party now, down in a canyon below. It's probably an offshoot of the same canyon, which is like swerved to the right and has come back to the left. And this time it's behind you.
How tall is the canyon? Or I guess how deep
maybe
is it?
like 80 feet or so to the riverbed below, the dry riverbed below.
Okay.
Hmm.
So if it's down there, I'm not too concerned about them attacking us, but
Unless
I
they can
still
fly.
can't see exactly what it is.
Right. It's one of those things you glance behind you, and there's like a thing moving behind a cliff face just as you look back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll pick up our pace.
Oh, okay. You make it so you're coming along the ridge of this hill. You can see that this ridge begins to curve and veer pretty far to the east, and you want to keep heading north. So you head down into the next valley, the next ravine, valley, whatever you want to call it, and back up the other side. And when you're starting to come back up over the other side, you catch sight of a thing coming up behind you.
That's hot.
Like
Oh.
a brain. That's a
Some
brain.
sort of beaked brain creature for just a moment, and then it's gone.
Oh, that thing looks ugly. I don't like it.
That looks absolutely terrifying. Have I ever heard of these things before? Can I local history check it?
You haven't seen it yourself, so let's hear how it gets described to you by Jeb. How would you
What'd you see,
describe that
Jeb?
thing?
I'd probably just start going off in Mystrian because like it's still hard to do, like especially for something like this. There's some sort of beaked brain tentacle monster following us. Probably how far away would you say it is?
150 feet.
150 feet back that way. It's definitely been following us. I've only seen one. There might be more of them, but it's pretty nasty.
What's he saying, Abner?
I relay it. We need to.
And I've definitely got an arrow knocked.
Yeah. Give me
Beak-brained tentacle monster.
I can't imagine what that is.
Yeah, give me a history check.
Local history fun?
Chives. Yeah.
How many?
Nice.
Just the one check. Did you get a 26 there? Is that what
I
that
did.
says?
I did get a 1.
Yeah, you know about the Grell. Grell were a problem here in the Hemdrakos Hills maybe like 5 or 8 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. You weren't really around this part of the world, but there was a problem where a bunch of Grell sort of showed up in these hills, and the new queen of Stromheim, back when Eredon was still a fully functioning kingdom, had to launch like an assault on these things, and there was a short-lived war against these Grell. Eventually the Grell were defeated, but not before there was a great cost to the kingdom. A lot of lowborn troops died, a bunch of knights died, because Grell are sort of weird telepathic floaty hovery creatures with paralyzing tentacles and a terrible beak that can rip you to shreds. There's also rumors circulating that they can throw lightning bolts, but that seems maybe a little far-fetched. There were a lot of problems with people who were presumed dead and their land given away during this time, only to actually have survived the whole battle and come back to find that whatever baron they served before had given their land away to somebody else while they were gone. And it created a bunch of broken groups of former soldiers turned brigand that plagued the whole kingdom for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. Most of that has died down now that the kingdom has been shattered and everyone's over.
Ebner, if you see that thing again, tell him to shoot it immediately. Those things are absolutely terrifying. Kill it immediately.
I relay the information.
Fuck that. Telepathic, stunning, giant beak man. I'm out.
Did he see
Throw
any?
lightning
Did he see
bolts.
any more than? Did he see any more than just one of them?
Just
He
the
said
one.
only one. And keep
Just
your
the
eyes
one,
peeled.
okay.
Yeah, let's keep our
And
eyes
yeah,
peeled and
next-
keep riding.
Nice.
Next time I see something, like I said, I'm gonna have an arrow ready. Just for this
Mm-hmm. You have a short bow or a long bow?
longbow. I mean, I have both, but the longbow is magical. I can probably just
Right,
pull
but
out
the
bow.
short bow can be used from horseback. The long
Yeah.
bow cannot be.
Yeah.
Okay, so short bow with an arrow notched. You keep an eye out for Grell. And you keep looking over your shoulder, but you will arrive at Kaldur'ahm without having a dangerous encounter with one of these beasts. They're just out there, around, following you, but not quite getting to you this time. You guys will make it to Kaldur'ahm, a predominantly dwarven city with tall stone walls. The population here is not wholly dwarven, just predominantly. You will be met at the gate by a small little company of soldiers, a bunch of dwarves with axes and chainmail, and then a bunch of human fighters with leather and bows who sit atop the walls. They will see you coming. The dwarves already on the outside of the walls, making a little entryway or entrance ceremony for you, a greeting line it might be. They see you coming. They have axes already in their hands, not necessarily in a, I'm going to kill you right now, but in a, we are prepared for some sort of shit. It looks like they're on high alert as you guys come into range of them.
I wave as the only dwarf in the party.
The lead dwarf here waves back at you and
I give him
says,
the symbol of Tempos, actually, with my hands.
yeah, he'll make an hourglass back at you.
Hell yeah.
And say in Dwarven, "Hello there. Who be these people with you?"
These be my compatriots, my followers of Tempos.
I wouldn't go that far, Master Dwarf.
I speak in Dwarven.
What is?
I assume that the dwarf would speak to me in Dwarven.
He spoke to you in Dwarven, yes.
There it is then.
So we wouldn't be.
Yeah. Unless any of you speak Dwarven?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, soon, though. Soon.
I barely speak Eridonian.
Your compatriots, huh? Followers of Tempos?
Yeah. Well,
They're,
I'll point to the paladin what's the paladin's name again? Sorry.
Valaria.
Valeria. Valeria, I point to him and say, well, he's not exactly. He is a paladin, but you know how they do with their gods, but
And what's your business here?
We're here to talk to X person's name. I show him physics.
Because he didn't.
Right,
Yeah. Show him the wizard's note.
Right. He'll take a look at it and nod appreciatingly and goes, well, all dwarves are welcome here in Kaldur'ahm, and if these are your people and you vouch for them, then they're welcome as well.
I vouch for him.
Yeah, and he then takes a slow look, taking like stock of your party, making sure to memorize faces, and lets his eyes linger all over your weapons and armor, which are plentiful at this point.
I like two
You,
bows.
Keep a tight leash on these folks here. We've had problems in town. These are trying times for us. We don't want any violence breaking out.
We ran into we almost ran into some big brain monster back there. You know anything about those? Are there many? Pretty rare now.
They've been spotted more and more as of late. Here's a bit of a problem.
Well, maybe after we finish our thing, maybe we come back and see if we can help you out with that. No promises, but
I like your spirit.
all right. Let me just
All right. Yep, they let you in. They don't take your weapons or your armor, which is a little unusual for such a walled city. And you can come into Kaldur'ahm. It has short, squat stone buildings mixed with taller buildings made of wood. It's very clear which is the dwarven architecture and which is the human architecture. You have most buildings just sized for dwarves. A lot of the taverns would be very uncomfortable for human-sized people to venture into. And the city is in not a state of disrepair, but sort of a state of, what's the word? Desperation, maybe? Or there's like a low tone to it. There's not a lot of people hanging out and chatting in the streets. When people are going about their business, they tend to do so sort of quickly and efficiently. There's not a lot of merrymaking. There's no music coming from anywhere. You don't hear anyone singing. There are some dogs barking at each other, but even the dogs are a little bit more quiet than in most towns. There's like a sense of dread filling the town as you come through.
Well, I guess this is what the dwarves like to do. Quiet, slow, dark, dirty. Seems like caves to me. Seems about on point.
we like to focus on our work, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
We don't need time for merriment or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let's
Why have
go.
fun? Life's long, right?
True. Let's go find our guy.
Find our guy.
You can find what was it? I had a name for him. Aramichi. You can find Aramichi down by the docks here in Kaldur'ahm. He is a human male in his maybe late 50s, early 60s, probably closer to 60s than 50s. And he is, after asking for some directions, tending to a small boat of his, which he has pulled out of the water, and he is currently applying a fresh coat of paint to the sides.
I'll go up to him. Aramichi, I presume.
I am.
We talked to Court Wizard in Confluence,
Right.
and he told us to come meet you.
Whatever his name is.
We're Here to
Court Wizard in Confluence. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I think he said you owed him a favor.
Yeah, we go way back. In his early days when he was just a dumb student.
Still pretty
he
dumb.
He helped me out with a couple of things. My buddy and I were raiding this tomb on Lynx Isle, and we needed a wizard. You know, magic traps and whatnot. Things to identify, so we brought him along. He served us good. Yeah,
he
we
seemed like
got
a
some
good guy.
history.
Well, he told us that you owed him a favor, and here we are to claim on it, actually. And I'll show him the note about how we need the boat and everything.
Yeah.
His handwriting is still, I'd assume.
Yeah, yep. The guy takes a look at it and says, well, you need to move people then, huh?
Yeah, about 100. I don't remember how many.
The population of Latrine.
Yeah, ex-population of
AKA
Latrine.
200 people. Give take.
I think it's around the 200 to 300 mark, or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but most villages tend to average at 500, and I think Latrine was a small village, so
200.
Okay.
yeah, 2-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my vessel is... He kind of pats it, and you can see it's not a huge boat. It's got a sail, one mast, and some room for some rowers if you need it. But it's pretty small. It's more like is Nar the right name for it?
Oh, jeez, I don't remember.
How many people do we think we
it's
could
like
fit
a
on
Nar.
it in a desperate time?
You could fit maybe 20 people at a time on it without being, risking people being so cramped that when someone moves, someone falls overboard.
Well, I guess we got two options here. You could... How long do we think it would take to... I'll ask him. How long do you think it'd take to row about 10 miles across?
Well, if the winds are good, we can do 10 miles in... I have no idea how fast boats go. So bad at this ship.
I mean...
Okay, Connor, here you go, buddy. How fast does a sailing ship go?
This is sailing here, man. All my shit's way better than that.
I know, but you're
something
a
typical,
boatman.
like something like that. I don't know, like
12 knots? Is that a reasonable speed?
that's pretty fast. I say something that small,
Someone in chat said
fully
5
loaded.
to 7.
Yeah, 5 to 7 sounds good. I was gonna
5
say
to
like
7?
How long?
7
how
to 9, but
quack?
yeah.
How
5 to
7
7
knots
is
to
good.
a mile?
7 knots is about 8 miles per hour.
Oh, so it'd be about like an hour there, hour back.
Yeah. I
well,
could do...
10
It'd take
trips.
a couple days.
Or, yeah, about 10 trips. So, about 20 hours of total work. And then your favor be redeemed.
20 hours of work you can pull off in 2 days. Not a problem.
It's gonna be down, you know where the Inchari River is? It's gonna be about down there.
All right. How are you going to get them down off the cliffs?
Oh, is that like a super cliff
Yeah,
face?
so the canal
How did
here
we-
has like 800 foot high cliffs all over the place.
Well, we're
How
gonna
did
be
we
coming.
get across?
You guys must have gone to Stout End, I think, and then taken a boat from Stout End down to Tassel. Because all the towns on the coast will have staircases down.
So
Can we take the boat up a little bit into the river and then pick up somewhere a little bit farther away from the edge?
No, because this river will be like a 300-foot waterfall.
Yeah.
When it hits the
I see.
oh,
yeah.
going down. Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh,
This is
I
a
assumed it'd be
deep
at the
valley.
bottom there.
Yeah, so
No,
basically
yeah.
we would need a big boat to do it all in one haul.
What about even better? It'll be only about 5 miles. What about you do it at and I'll whisper over. I'm sure there's a little town near the Grand Canal or something that we would know of.
You would need any like marked town has a way down. Otherwise, everything else in between
all these
the
are
towns,
cliff faces.
These are all huge cliff faces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the way through the canal, except over here where you are at Kaldur'ahm, where the ground has been going down, and is
Stout
now...
End to Kneecap, maybe? We could talk to the people at Kneecap. Just completely avoid
The issue is
Tassel.
Stout End won't let us.
Where are you trying to bring these folks, huh?
I mean, I'm trying to bring them over to High Castle, and they're currently, where Honey reaches in Mistria. About northwest, about 20 miles.
Well, Stout End to High Castle is about 70 miles.
Well, I don't want to make you do that, so I think what we could do, we just want to at least get them over to this side of near Kneecap. Just get them over, and then we'll walk them all the way.
All right. Well, I can take you Stout End to Kneecap if you can get him to Stout End safely, and if you can convince the people of Kneecap to let them come up those stairs, I can do that for you.
I can convince the people of Kneecap. So I've made this journey. I should know how long it should take. How long do I think it's going to take to get to Kaldur'ahm, or from Kaldur'ahm appropriately to Kneecap to Stout End to Latrine, and then from Latrine bringing the people to Stout End? Probably
you'll
15
probably
days?
go with him by boat down here.
Oh, he'll take us. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise he'd have to somehow find a way to meet you at the right time. So he'll take you here. It's like 154 miles. Navigating the channel is a little bit awkward because it's still connected to the ocean. So when the tide goes out, there's like a deep pull away from this end. But then when the tide goes in, there's like a nice big push this way. So traffic is going to be a little bit weird. You leave at the right time. How far did we say it was? 150 miles?
Yeah, 150.
Yes.
Yeah, you could do...
Never mind.
Tides come in groups of what? Every 6 hours or so you have a high and a low tide? So
it literally depends on where you're at.
Of course, but if we're trying to get some like rounded approximations and averages, the moon lines up with the sun every 12 hours.
This is going to start to get into, Neal, what's the actual shape of your world? Where in relation to the equator is this continent?
You know too much, Connor. No, you have to suspend all of these things and just go with really, really broad lines.
It's the east coast of the U.S.
I don't know
two
what
high
that
tides,
means.
2 low tides every day.
Yeah, there we go. 2 high tides, 2 low tides, just like every other place on Earth all day, right?
Yep, every other place on Earth.
Yeah, that's how oceans work. Cool.
Yep.
So it'll be a 2-day journey to Stout End.
Okay. All right, well, when we get to Stout End, then we got to go over to Latrine, so probably take another day for us to get there, another day, well, day to get there, day to get back, because it's going to be about a 8-day job for you. It'll repay your favor, your wizard friend will be happy, and he'll never ask you anything again. And
I doubt that.
Maybe we can give you a little dough for, we don't have much currently, but a little bit.
Well, I'm sure you can introduce me to some of the
women,
more pliable gentlemen of your town.
What does pliable mean in this sense?
Loose.
Gentlemen? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He gives you
I'll
a smile.
find you a few gentlemen.
Good. Gotta find something to do while we're rowing back and forth and waiting.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll handle it.
And I think with that, you will be able... He'll need to finish painting his boat, so you'll kick it in town for a little while he finishes his shit, lets it dry.
Cool spells, Koibu, to gain good favor with the people.
All right, you go around healing folks where you can.
And weather prediction, I'll do it on the last day to tell him.
So while you're out healing folks and all that jazz, what are the rest of the party doing in this dwarven city?
Probably going to help this dude paint his boat. Like, that's some pretty simple manual labor that I'm used to.
Okay. What about the other two of you?
Valerio?
Oh, I'll probably be doing my healing thing alongside Ebner as well. The same thing that I did before, because all of these things work to try, because Valerio's still trying to maybe redeem himself as far as doing good deeds and things like that. Yeah.
And what about you, Chives?
Chives will accompany him to the temple to begin with, and he's going to say a little prayer to Jexel and say, "Give me good luck." And then he's going to head on over to the tavern, and he's going to gamble his little heart out. and try to win as much money as possible.
Great. Give me
I threw 1 silver to Jexel when I was there, because that is the highest coin that I have.
Excellent. Give me a charisma check for your time in the tavern.
22.
Very high charisma score you've got there, buddy.
It's not bad.
So while you're in the tavern, gambling, which we'll deal with in just a moment, you will overhear and chat with some people about some of the events that have been happening in this area. Apparently, there's some dwarven thane, some dwarven king, with the name Blacksteel, that has been working to bind these 3 dwarven towns, Tharnam, Kaldur'ahm, and Milfaldur, together into like one nation of dwarves. And it's been a little slow going. You'll hear about how Milfaldur was attacked by cyclops that sort of just dug themselves out of the earth, and this fear that the Hemderkos Hills is like home to some sort of earth giants or earth cyclops that live in the ground and awaken like cicadas every 700 years or something and wreak havoc on the area. There's a lot of concern about this sort of thing. You'll also hear a little bit more about the dwarven thane Blacksteel, who has mithril plate mail and an enchanted mithril weapon that he has been using to organize these dwarves together.
Okay.
Where he gets his gear from, no one really knows, but it has become the symbol of the Blacksteel family. You even get rumors that his guards carry mithril weapons. That's how wealthy and powerful these Blacksteel dwarves are.
Wow.
Okay.
You don't see a single one of them.
Kaldur'ahm? That's where they're from?
No, they're from some backwoods place that you've never heard of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're from some keep called Blacksteel Keep in the middle of who the fuck knows where. It seems like they were actually a relatively minor section of dwarves who have recently come into power here.
Okay.
Let's see, what else would you pick up about this? Yeah, I think that's it. That's what you learned from here. And give me a gaming check.
I think it's just flat charisma as well, right?
Yep.
With the gaming button, though. It's a 37.
You score a nat 20, and your opponents collectively score a natural 1.
Shit.
You make bank here today, buddy.
That is the day we were looking for.
Exel's with them today, boys.
You make bank. You find yourself on a hot streak in a game with stakes larger than you were really looking to be in, but you're on a streak, and you're not gonna fucking fail this thing, right? You end up with
not. You don't leave when you're on a heater.
No. You end up with 49 pieces of gold.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And 60
Nice.
pieces of silver.
That's more wealth than we have, Neal. Like, I think currently.
Not more wealth than we have, but that's almost more wealth than we've ever made in one time.
Yeah, for sure.
However, you've taken this money from people legitimately through gambling, but when it's over, they are very unhappy about it. The people that this money have come from, one is a disgraced human noble who fled Eridon.
No. He's probably
Her
already pissed
name is
off. Her name, excuse me. Sorry.
yeah. Lady Syndra.
Okay.
Mark this.
Uh-oh. That's fine. It's fine.
Another person is it's another woman, a dwarven woman whose name is Gilda Bornhart.
I know there was
That's a-
dwarven women.
Sure, it's not Rock Smasher or Rock Thrower.
Did
You're
you
racist. They're not all rock-related names, okay?
Some deal with shovels. Okay, they deal with dirt.
Or hammers or axes. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh no, it's the Shovelman clan.
All right. These are my two
And-
new enemies?
No,
Or
no,
is there
there's
any more on this
one
list I need to
more
write down?
person.
His
Yeah,
name
yeah,
is
yeah.
Stone Miner Guy.
And this is the last one is an elderly human woman. Her name is
Stole from the lady. Every lady in the tavern.
It's Joka's mom.
No,
Somehow she ended up over there. We
don't know how.
her name
How am I gonna use
is
this money to save my son?
Widow von Schnoot.
What an unfortunate and foretelling name.
Yes. So Lady Syndra, the human woman, is sort of, this disgraced person who has fled, leaving her people behind, and has made her residence here in this town. She seems very at home in this tavern that you're in. You're definitely getting like a skeevy, sketchy vibe from her. She doesn't use any thieves' cant that you can pick up on, but the way that she interacts with the wait staff lets you know that she knows these people pretty well.
The regular.
And the wait staff are all like low-born people. But then when she talks to you, she uses her like highfalutin, noble Eridonian tone. The dwarf Gilda Bornhart. She's got a problem. All right. She's one of these gamblers that doesn't know when to quit until she's lost everything. And today was a bad day for her. Some of this gold that you have is probably actually in the form of jewelry that she's carrying. We'll just count it as pieces of gold because it's like, a pair of earrings that are gold that have the value of a piece of gold and, the weight of less. And the Widow von Schnoot is a very proud woman who is only at this table because this is the table where the games are being played well. And the other gambling establishments are just not that great. So she's proud. She thinks she's really good at this. And this is what she's been doing to pass the time since her husband died in the war. And now she has the estate and the men-at-arms. And her pride is deeply wounded by your wild success. She is looking at you with those eyes that she thinks you're cheating. Sort of.
So Neal, this is what I like to picture is happening here. So, with the disparity between a nat 20 and a nat 1, all three of them are just like. He's just like, all right, I got a pair of twos, and they pull out. All right, I've got a string, I got my sock from my boot, and then here's my earring.
Yeah.
And you're like, I won with a pair of twos.
Yeah. It's stuff like that, or it's the like. Everyone's got a good hand, and then the last card flops
massive
down.
Suck out. Yeah.
And he gets the inner straight, and it's just over. Yeah.
I'll look over to Miss von Stute as she seems to greatly want to go. Well, seems like you're having an unlucky day. I think if you ever want to play again, I'll be around. Y'all like this place the best?
I don't like the company, she says as she gets up.
That's unfortunate. You seemed like you were a pretty good player. And then I'll look back to the rest of the table. Well, what about the rest of you? Any more games? Or are we done here for today?
Gilda Bornhart shoves herself away from the table and says, I don't like the looks of you, halfling. Show me your sleeves, huh?
I'll
Shake 'em
pull
out.
up my sleeves. Shake them out. No problem.
Bah! She tosses the cards on the table and storms off. The Lady Syndra stays here, rolling her fingers on her glass of liquor.
So it's the dwarf
Gazing
left?
in your eyes. Yeah, the dwarf left. It's just you and Lady Syndra.
I go, well, good thing about being a gambler and being a dwarf is it's all about repetition and time. So you've got both of those left. So what about another game?
My dear Chives, I believe we will meet again very soon. And when we do so, my fortunes will be reversed. But for today, we will call it. It seems you have the luck of Jexel upon your side tonight.
I did give him a prayer before coming. He's a good dude. I'll hop down out of my chair and I'll walk on out. And I'll turn the first corner, and then I'm hiding in the shadows until I'm going back to where I'm going.
You can feel her eyes gazing into the back of your head as you walk away, and you slip out of the door and quickly hide in the town. You're a halfling. You're going to be able to hide in this town from humans pretty easily because there are a lot of buildings that you're just going to have a lot of trouble getting into. And
I'm
you
just
will.
looking out for Syndrome,
really
and
small
I'm
places.
staying in low brow places. She's the only one I need to watch out for. She's the only dwarf.
I thought she was a human.
Let's see.
Gilda
She's a
Bornhart is the dwarf.
The dwarf.
She ran
Gilda
out
Bornhart.
already.
I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
Syndra left. Gilda's the one I'm worried about. Okay, that's
Careful,
fine.
he'll murder Hobie. He'll murder Hobie you like he did with Zaz.
I guess where does Chives
Just
go?
kidding.
I guess I go back to the boat. I can just go hang out with everybody. We're just not going to talk about this ever,
Bless you.
at least for now.
Excuse me.
We're just gonna wonder why you're paying for a lot of awesome shit at left and
We're
right.
just not going to worry about it because y'all won't even know it's gone because you'll see me cast spells. Be like, oh, that was a cool spell. And I'll be like, yeah, it was 20 gold. It was a real cool spell.
All right. I believe that will wrap up our adventures here in.
I'm gonna do my weather
Kaldur'ahm.
predictions if you
Oh, yes.
toss them out for the sea.
Yes. Let's see. 95% chance for the first day?
Yep, 10% for each day after.
Okay.
I'll just do it
So
one
the first day is going to be sort of clear. Second day is going to be slightly overcast. Third day is going to be overcast. Fourth day is going to be stormy. Fifth day is going to be stormy. Sixth day is going to be sunny. And seventh day is going to be sunny.
Okay, thank you. I will relay it to the ship captain.
Well then, we'd best leave bright in the morning. We don't want to be caught in a storm in the Grand Canal. You should see it. When the waters start going sideways instead of up and down, oof. You don't want to get broadside by one of those suckers. We should
Not
get there
good.
as quickly as possible.
Yep.
All right.
Ebner, you wanted this book about the skeletons, right? I just don't know if I want to carry this around anymore. It might encumber me.
I take it.
Okay, cool.
Um,
I just called it Skeleton Necromancer book, and then I
Pound?
did the typical weights, which I think is 3 pounds. I deleted it.
I'll add it. Can one of these days while we're in the town, Ebner would have liked to, go off on his own a little bit. When I'm curing people, I don't know, for just a little bit, I'm gonna do my divination. And I'm gonna divine. I'm basically gonna just, I know Tempos isn't gonna commune exactly back to me, but like kind of in the Christian religion where you pray and you hope they listen or whatever. I'm gonna kind of do that, but do my whole spiel about Ebner has just seen what a single necromancer can do with all his power, and Ebner realizes that there's a whole siege going on in Stromheim, and the siege is probably primarily of hundreds, if not thousands, of undead. And Ebner is currently struggling. I like to think of Ebner as a chaotic good character, so he'll do whatever he can to do the most good. And the most amount of harm in the world right now is the undead threat that's happening near Stromheim. So how is this going to be fixed? Ebner kind of muses to himself and talks to his god. Ebner comes up with the solution that maybe he needs to kind of use the unholiness and the undead for a means to an end. And he wants to divine about that. Would Tempos understand if Ebner started raising dead of evil people primarily to maybe deal with this massive undead threat? That's what he talks about, and that's the question that he asks.
Well, we'll find out the answer to this question on the other side of our break. See you guys soon.
Amazing.
Bye-bye.